Awesome. All right. Switching over. Hi, everybody. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're here live from RV Falkor 2. Just a couple of logistics before we get started here. This is going to be an hour to an hour and a half. We're going to be checking the chat throughout this entire broadcast, so please feel free to leave your questions. We're going to be exploring a lot of different areas on the ship today. We're going to talk to a couple folks, and they would all love to hear your questions. With me, I have an amazing team. I'm Sofia, I'm your MMT. You've met me before on the Divestreams. Here I have Sergio and also Beatriz, who will introduce themselves in just a minute. And we're super stoked to be bringing you this open house today. So, without further ado, I'm gonna take the gimbal and then I'm gonna have them introduce themselves.
Thank you, Sophie. Um, Thank you, everyone. And also, just to start, let you know that we're going to be switching between Spanish and English. So, yes, my name is Sergio Cambronero. I'm a researcher at National University in Costa Rica and also part of a local NGO called Pelagos. And very happy to have this live stream, more informal one. We can have, many science questions, but also fun questions. I feel that this is an amazing vessel, and this is a perfect time to get to know the vessel a little closer. And with me, I have Bea.
Yeah, hello everyone. Really happy to be here. We're just finishing our Octopus Odyssey cruise. We had the first one in June and then we came back. We are both Costa Rican. We had a great Costa Rican team on board. My name is Beatriz Naranjo. I'm also a researcher, a marine biologist, and web developer from the University of Costa Rica. And as Sergio said, we will be doing a tour around the ship, and we will be switching between English and Spanish. So I will change to Spanish now to introduce myself. Hola, muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Estamos bastante emocionada y emocionados, Sergio, y todo el equipo científico que tenemos a bordo por poder mostrarles el barco de una forma más informal. Lo que vamos a hacer es un tour de una hora, hora y media, donde vamos a recorrer diferentes espacios que de hecho no visitamos usualmente en las transmisiones en vivo que hacemos desde el barco. Yo soy investigadora, soy bióloga marina, desarrolladora web de la Universidad de Costa Rica y soy también parte de un colectivo costarricense llamado Pélagos, donde intentamos combinar arte con ciencia para mejorar pues toda la conservación del océano.
Muchas gracias, Bea. Y bueno, como les comentaba Bea, y me vuelvo a presentar, mi nombre es Sergio, investigador de la Universidad Nacional y del colectivo Pélagos. Hoy es una transmisión especial porque vamos a conocer partes del barco que usualmente no recorremos y a entrevistar gente que usualmente no se ven. Así que bueno, antes de todo, agradecerle a Sofi que está pues detrás haciendo todo esto posible y justamente bueno empezar también por presentándoles al primer invitado que es un pulpito de estos que básicamente nos lleva hacia el objetivo principal de esta expedición donde estamos 200 kilómetros mar adentro de la costa pacífica de Costa Rica, específicamente como desde la península de Nicoya. Estamos en esta área que bueno por primera vez estamos extraoficialmente nombrándola la Pampa Submarina. Así que los que conocen a Guanacaste, ¿verdad? Y nuestra amada provincia del norte, sabrán de que es un término pues bastante común y entonces toda esta zona la estamos nombrando en base a este término tan común que tenemos. Entonces vamos a ir pues recorriendo un poco el barco, de nuevo, partes que usualmente no se ven. Y en este momento estamos en lo que se le llama el puente. Como pueden ver, allá al fondo se ve el horizonte desde este lugar del barco y tal vez ahí sí, Sofi, desde aquí se puede ver una vista 360 de todo y esto es importante para que las personas que están aquí, tanto el capitán como los, los mates, digamos los first mates,
Oficiales.
officers, los oficiales, puedan ver qué es lo que está pasando, si hay alguna embarcación cerca, algún objeto que haya que evitar o inclusive pues monitorear bien pues todo lo que está sucediendo con las operaciones de los equipos que se están desplegando desde el barco. Entonces, bueno, es un lugar bastante callado, por decirlo así, no hay muchísimo sucediendo, justamente por eso, porque tienen que estar concentrados. Y bueno, vamos a seguir a Bea, que nos va a mostrar un poco donde va la parte más bonita de este puente.
So Yeah, so we are now exploring the bridge. This is like the operation center on board Falkor 2. Remember that we have been working with Sebastian, the ROV, the robot that allow us to go down, in this case, to 3 kilometers below the surface, where we have been studying octopus. And from here, all the officers and the captain are able to see, for example, if there are any fishing vessels. We had that troubles in this expedition. You know, like this is a fishing area, so we need to be sure that there are no fishing lines on the water. So from here, we try to establish communication with them and let them know that we are doing some research with equipment in the water. So here
So
we
yeah,
have a.
Officer Eddie.
Hey,
Eddie,
how's it going?
so
Yeah.
pretty good. Before handing you over the word, let
Oh,
me give you our
Yes.
special one that was going to join us during the whole tour. So yeah, tell us a bit more about what we can see here. What are all these amazing screens and buttons?
yeah, so actually this is probably one of the most phenomenal bridges I've worked on because as you can see you've got this amazing 360-degree view. So behind us we've got the DP station, which is when we're sitting in dynamic positioning, and this is basically a whole duplicate of our controls, so that when we've got Sebastian in the water, we can keep ourselves on station up to usually like about 30 centimeters, which, considering this is a 110-meter vessel, we can keep it pretty steady for our underwater ops. At the moment, we're underway, so we're transiting back to Golfito in Costa Rica. So that's why I'm up at the forward part of the station. So you've got two pretty much identical sides here. We've got an X-band radar on the left-hand side, and looking at the S-band radar here on the starboard side. And yeah, of course, up at the front of the bridge so that we can see any oncoming traffic. It's luckily very quiet at the moment, but as you mentioned before, we've had a lot of fishing vessels and fishing lines, and it's to be expected. I know they put in for the permit that would be doing work and underwater operations, but in the eyes of the fishermen, they've been fishing there for maybe their entire life, so
Yeah.
they tend to just kind of like stay on station. But you know, we try and try our best to kind of work around them as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so we are, as I said, we're underway. So we're actually full ahead on the sticks here. So I'm on synchro mode, so I'm using the starboard side control. And you'll notice something slightly different about this bridge compared to if you've maybe been on a cruise ship or like a small yacht or something. We don't actually have a wheel. This is completely operated using sticks, which for me was a complete change when I came on here, using a joystick to steer, but I've been on for a while now and it's definitely coming more naturally. But yeah, it's a very advanced bridge. It's they've got voice Schneider propellers, which are slightly different to your kind of like regular if you're on a, I don't know, going out on a little pleasure boat, but they're great for keeping us in position. So yeah, it's great.
Great.
Do you have any questions or anything that you want to ask about them?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for telling
No,
us. And
pleasure.
this is a very good time to tell the audience, everyone that's watching, that along the tour we're gonna be taking questions of anything. If you wanna ask Eddie, us, or just random things about the vessel, please let us know. So I will take the first chance to ask Eddie. Eddie, how fast are we going right now? And what is the most amazing, like your most favorite thing about this vessel?
Well, I've already mentioned it. It's this bridge. This is
Okay,
phenomenal.
great.
It's you don't usually get something which has got 360-degree views. Like I feel like very lucky to be on here. It's like not only is it just as like a kind of like a pleasurable thing that you can come up here and you get these stunning stunning horizons and
So
Yeah,
sunsets
the
and
sunsets.
sunrises. Absolutely stunning,
probably
especially here.
you have the
Yeah.
best office in the world.
I think so, yeah. But I mean, it's also great for safety as well. When you are in like busy traffic situations, you can really kind of just see exactly what's going on, like very easily as well. Of course, you can see on other bridges, but generally you kind of have to
Yeah.
run from side to side. But yeah, so speed-wise, we're doing here. You can see 8.2 knots over the ground, and through the water we're doing 8.1. So pretty almost matched. Yeah, and
Okay.
we've got obviously CCTV and things all around here. So from this point of the vessel, you can get like a really um, good kind of like bird's eye view of everything that's happening, which is good because this is the the brains of the ship. Everything kind of comes via us, safety-wise, so we can kind of know exactly what's happening
Yeah.
and kind of coordinate it from there.
Totally.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Sophie, do you have any questions for Eddie?
Everyone just says Toy Schneider propellers are really cool. Thank you, Eddie, for all your hard work.
Oh, pleasure.
And could you tell us just real quick what it looks like up here at night? I think that would be amazing.
Okay, it looks a little bit like a disco because it is, it's pitch black. So when you first come up, you're just trying not to walk into the pillars or anything else, while your night vision is adjusting, and then you've just got like a very low kind of hum of lights, and we've got like one red light because red light won't affect your night vision. So we keep, if you are going to look at things, I mean, I've got the Apple Watch, so this actually has a really handy function that you can put on a red light, so if I'm filling in the logbook and things,
Cool.
but it looks very much like, a bit of a rave, because you've just got like some little red lights on up here, but otherwise it's pitch black.
Alright, we should
So,
visit here,
yeah.
right? More often at
Yeah,
night.
this is where it's happening. Like,
Yeah.
everywhere might be asleep, but there's always someone up there. So
That's amazing,
yeah.
Eddie. Maybe
Yeah.
we can translate a bit to
Yeah.
Spanish. Como les comentábamos, estamos en el puente y Eddie aquí es uno de los oficiales que cuando el capitán no está, pues es capaz de llevar el rumbo del barco. Él nos comentaba que pues la parte favorita del barco es precisamente esta y que una de las cosas que más le gusta es esta vista 360 que tiene, que no todos los barcos tienen. Hay un centro de comando aquí que se repite atrás, es básicamente una copia para poder mantener el barco en posición cuando el ROV Sebastian está en el agua. Ellos tienen que moverse en coordinación ya que el Sebastian está conectado por un cable y pues les preguntaban que cómo era cómo se veía de noche aquí. Las noches son increíbles, los atardeceres y los amaneceres se ven bastante bien desde todo este lugar con tantas ventanas. Ayer tuvimos de hecho lluvia de estrellas.
Ayer tuvimos
Estuvimos
las
viendo
Geminidas.
las Geminidas, estuvimos viendo las estrellas y pues nos comentaba que desde aquí es pues posible observar todo esto y que pues en la noche todo eso está oscuro, que mientras la vista se empieza a acostumbrar a la oscuridad, hay pues bastantes luces rojas que le permiten como tener una idea de dónde están las cosas para no chocar. Ahorita vamos hacia Golfito, que está en el Pacífico Sur de Costa Rica, en el Golfo Dulce, es el lugar donde vamos a desembarcar todo el equipo científico y parte de la tripulación, y nos movemos a alrededor de 8 nudos.
8 knots, right?
Yeah.
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 Sí, bien, Eddie.
¿Algo más?
Sí, y bueno, comentarles, mientras Eddie ya me entregó de nuevo, creo que le vamos a poner un nombre a esta pulpita, Octavia, vamos a ponerle
Octavia, ok.
Octavia, así que
8
eh,
extremidades.
8
ok.
extremidades y
Makes
bueno,
sense.
tal vez complementar, perdón, con lo que decía Beatriz y algo muy interesante que la vez pasada pues tuvimos como que lidiar era pues con la comunicación que había con otras embarcaciones. Entonces ellos acá tienen esta herramienta que es como un radio y entonces básicamente aquí uno pues levanta, es como un teléfono, estripa esto y pues puede comunicarse con otras embarcaciones para decirles que uno va a pasar, que se va a estar pues desplegando algún equipo y bueno, pues todo esto ha sido definitivamente para nosotros un proceso de aprendizaje muy interesante porque de otra forma no podríamos pues acceder a este tipo de embarcaciones acá en Costa Rica. So thank you very much, Eddie. I think we're gonna head over. I don't know if we have any questions for Eddie.
I'll keep it to one. When you guys are in DP, does only one of the propellers run? Like, how does...
You can have both, but generally to keep us on station, we just have one, and we just change them up month by month to keep equal running hours. But generally, just one. However, yesterday when we had a little bit of choppier weather, which you might have seen, we had both on just to make sure we're strong in position. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one last question, maybe for Eddie. Sorry. How long are your shifts? Like,
So they're short, kind of 4-hour shifts.
Okay.
What we do is it's very traditional. It's 4 on, 8 off, and then 4 on. So you're kind of like pretty rested. Your attention span, because I think you can do longer shifts, but I think being up here for longer, trying to keep like a watch, maybe it's a little bit easier here because it's open water. But if you're in high traffic situations, it can be
totally.
pretty
Need to
exhausting.
be really sharp.
So you want to make sure that. And also you're attending to everything else going on at the same time as well.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. This is the brain of the vessel for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Well, it's been
Thank
nice
you,
having you
Eddie.
guys.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Tal vez mientras Eddie nos devuelve el micrófono y empezamos a movernos por el resto del barco, él nos comentaba que todos estos sistemas están computarizados y que pues ese es uno de los principales cambios comparados a otros barcos en los que ha trabajado en el pasado. Como pueden ver, toda la tecnología a bordo del Falkor 2 pues es simplemente impresionante. De hecho, vinimos en junio y ahora que volvimos en diciembre, pues hemos visto bastantes cambios, ¿cierto? Como en la tecnología, incluso como en los
Sí,
sistemas que usamos para los eventos del buceo, pues todos los sistemas de software y demás están
sí.
constantemente siendo
Vea,
mejorados.
tal vez
Sí.
enseñarles aquí esto. No sé si if we saw this. This is a great place to have meetings. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
There's a Costa Rican book here about Isla del Coco.
Ah,
Really
that's a great
nice.
feature. Yeah. So yeah, just wanted to show that this is a. I mean, I've had the opportunity to be in a couple of vessels, research vessels. Definitely, this is the best bridge I've ever seen, as Eddie said. So
Okay.
yeah, really nice.
Ok, vamos a salir del puente. Vamos a ir por afuera para que puedan ver el día tan bonito que tenemos hoy, bastante soleado y caliente. Pasamos de aire acondicionado al clima real.
Oh,
Uf.
that was. So yeah, it's really hot in here. So yeah, fun thing is that yesterday we were actually after finishing our last dive, we were just right here watching the
Oh,
meteor
yeah.
shower, the Gemini.
Yeah.
So it was pretty nice because here you don't have, I think it's the best place in the world, like the open ocean, where you can actually see stars.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can imagine this at night. It was beautiful. I think we saw more than I don't know that
I
close
don't
to
know.
100.
Maybe. Just for a while because we were really tired
Yeah.
about all the work. Yesterday we had our last
Last
dive
dive.
and we got many samples, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good night.
Good night,
Uh,
yes, for sure.
a good price, the stars, uh, to finish the day.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions. We're gonna move over to the lower levels. Also, all along the ship, you have this security equipment. Just in any case, we have a man overboard. We can be. These things need to be handy in
Ujú,
case if there's any emergency.
ujú.
Uh,
Acá tenemos, pueden ver otros equipos que pues tal vez no se muestran mucho en las transmisiones, que son equipos que tiene
yeah.
right here.
I,
Son otros equipos que tiene el barco, como esta grúa ah,
the crane.
como esta grúa que vemos acá, que puede soportar 150 toneladas,
Sí, 150.
toneladas,
Yeah.
impresionante. Hay otras grúas más pequeñas también que nos ayudan pues, a descargar y montar todo el equipo necesario para cada expedición, incluyendo comida.
So this is a great place. We're gonna focus on this area just a little bit. It's another lounge. We used to, spend time here relaxing after our shift. And yes, also some people use this place, to clear their minds, work out,
Exercise.
exercise. So yeah, it's definitely a really nice vessels in terms that you have a variety of spaces in which you can actually do things. You might also work in here, so it's
Ujú.
pretty nice. Really nice sunsets also.
Sí, este es uno de los decks que usamos después de cuando no estamos trabajando, cuando tenemos algunos minutos libres, pues para conversar entre nosotros. Algunas personas lo usan para hacer ejercicio, hacer yoga, venir a leer y demás. Y aquí pues los atardeceres se ven increíbles, así que usualmente venimos aquí todos los días, aunque sea un ratito. Sobre todo las personas que viven en el barco se podrán imaginar que vivir en un barco pues implica vivir no en el mundo exterior, no bajo el sol, así que es importante recordar que ocupamos un poco de sol todos los días, un
Definitivamente.
poco de aire libre, así que el Falkor 2 tiene todos estos espacios. Where do you wanna go?
Yeah. All
Okay.
right. So we're gonna go inside again. Back to the AC. Yay.
Ajá. Aquí pueden ver parte del cable de Sebastian. Sebastian, recordemos que puede hacer inmersiones hasta 4.500 metros de profundidad. Y este cable es el que permite tener conectado a Sebastian al barco y por supuesto transmitir todos los datos. Así que son pues kilómetros literalmente de cable, un cable bastante grueso. Sí. Okay.
So yeah, we
Okay.
were saying that this is the place. The winch that you just saw is the winch that deploys Sebastian. And yes, we're gonna head over to our next side. Usually we need to be quiet here because we have people sleeping. But yeah, again, many part of the vessels that are usually not seen. And yeah, I think we're gonna head over to the one of the, I would say, one
Your
of my
favorite one.
most favorite areas, which is pretty much the place where we eat and find food. And on our way there, you will see these beautiful common spaces. I cannot remember the name of this lobby. Games room.
The pen.
So you see there are some lounges, couches, chairs, nice pillows, very comfy. On the back, you see a beautiful painting. So it's almost Costa Rica wall for sure.
Yeah, basically.
So again, you can be here, take your computer, work, just having a meeting with another scientist or with someone from the crew. And yes, I would say that in this specific component, the Falkor 2 is a really nice vessel because it gives people the chance to, yeah, I would say
I would say unique. Like
unique.
have like like cool labs for doing science and also nice spaces to spare time,
Totally,
and work,
yeah.
of course, on your computer.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really important, as Eddie was saying. I mean, when you're working, but you need to be sharp. So it's important to rest and have, like times for relax, to watch a movie, to do some stuff. So these are the perfect places.
Ujú.
So yeah, we're gonna head over there.
Ok, sí.
Okay.
Estos espacios que estamos viendo son pues espacios que usamos en nuestro tiempo libre o para tener reuniones con otros miembros y demás. Todo el Falcor 2 pues es impresionante, no solo en cuanto a tecnología, sino en cuanto a estos espacios, son bastante artísticos además, tenemos muchas paredes con pinturas, no solo del mar, sino también como plantas y demás, entonces hay como muchos artistas que han puesto o que han ayudado a embellecer el barco con su arte. Y ahorita pues nos dirigimos bueno, este que estábamos viendo era el cine o el cinema.
Vamos.
Este es el lugar favorito de Sergio y bueno, y el mío también creo. Estamos en el mes, básicamente pues donde para cenar, tomar un café, un té, un helado cuando hay.
Sí. Y sí, acá como pueden ver, tenemos toda la sección. Pues, siempre una pantalla donde se indica cuál es el almuerzo, cuál es la cena. Algo súper importante, lo voy a decir en español, para que entiendan, es que hay un tratamiento de residuos,
No here in Sergio.
hay un tratamiento de residuos muy
Gracias.
all good. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Ah, estaba comentándoles que hay un tratamiento de residuos bastante riguroso. Los barcos tienen que apegar las leyes internacionales en cuanto al manejo de residuos. Entonces, por ejemplo, tenemos todo lo que es orgánico, todo lo que se puede reciclar, plástico, aluminio y papel, si no me equivoco, o más bien vidrio. Y bueno, pues es parte de las cosas que forman parte de esta embarcación, que es básicamente por todo lado siempre hay basureros para poder pues separar de la manera más apropiada todos los residuos y evitar la contaminación en alta mar. Entonces, cosas que ustedes se podrían preguntar es, por ejemplo, cómo se hace el tratamiento, por ejemplo, de las aguas negras, ¿verdad? El barco tiene una planta de tratamiento especial en la parte inferior, que básicamente lo que permite es que las aguas se puedan ser tratadas antes de devolverse al mar, y cuando se devuelven, pues como han pasado por este proceso de saneamiento, pues salen con una calidad, por decirlo así, bastante aceptable, y que definitivamente se apega a todos los estándares internacionales. Entonces, I'm going to repeat this in English, and it's, yes,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, no? Octavia.
Yeah, I want to have kind of
Yes. Yes.
Octavia.
Iwa pura vida, Octavia. Okay. All right. So going back, we were talking, and I always forget in English. One very important aspect and component of this vessel is that it follows strict rules of international law in terms of how to treat um, waste. So, especially here, we have different types of containers with the organics and non-recyclables, the recyclables, plastics, and this is really important any pollution to the environment, and also for the others. Yeah. Okay. No.
So, aquí el yes. Okay.
So what is that? The signal is not that good at the mess. Okay.
Ah, okay.
Maybe
Okay.
we can go into the den.
Yeah, maybe we can go
Yeah.
to the den.
Do you think it will be good there?
Okay.
All right. So while we go into the den, also take a look. All the ship is full of amazing art. So you might think this is something that is not necessarily, but definitely adds a bit of color to the operations and the everyday, um, yeah, life at the ship. So when we were in here, we need to take our shoes off. You can see my socks. Well, maybe not. They're fish socks. And this is a very nice area. That's called the den. And yes, also I would say that this is like my maybe like my third favorite place of the vessel. Yeah, it's an amazing office. You can work, see the ocean, and yeah,
Yeah, well, I tried to work it, but I got like when I realized I'm staring at the ocean, so I don't know if it's a good place
You
to
can get
work.
easily distracted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Ok, estamos en lo que llamamos el DEN. Es un lugar donde podemos tener reuniones, trabajar en las computadoras. También tenemos una pantalla. Y para quienes tal vez no hayan hecho un recorrido por el barco antes, inclusive en el mes, que era, bueno, donde comemos, que estuvimos hace unos minutos, ahí también tenemos pantallas en todo el barco, entonces aunque estemos tomándonos un descanso para tomar un café o para almorzar, desayunar, siempre podemos hacer un monitoreo de lo que está sucediendo en el buceo y eso es como algo muy interesante del barco, incluso desde nuestros cuartos también podemos ver lo que Sebastián está viendo bajo el mar. Eh, Vamos
See,
a...
maybe just one last thing, just to show
sí.
a very nice painting that we have here, a piece of art, and it's pretty much the Falkor 2, Falkor Classic. I'm sorry, and this is on top of the ship. You see the original Falkor, which is taken from a book from Michael
Ende.
English, yes. So yes, this is yeah. Sometimes when there are interviews for outreach and communication, people like to sit here and have this in the frame because it definitely shows, yeah.
The never-ending story of ocean exploration.
Exactly. Well, I like that, Ben. Okay, so heading over.
Bueno, lo que Sergio les estaba comentando es que hay pues un cuadro ahí artístico que tiene el Falkor clásico o el barco que también se llamaba Falkor antes de este, que era de Schmidt Ocean. Y el barco lleva el nombre Falkor por uno de los principales personajes de la historia sin fin, creo que es la traducción en español, The Never Ending Story. Y precisamente es por, bueno, pues todas estas aventuras. Igual Sebastián también es pues algo tomado del libro.
Yeah, maybe it will be a good time to see if we have any questions, Sophie, so far. Yeah.
I'll unmute myself as well. Okay, the door's closed. This door is very finicky to close. We actually have a question that says, can we see someone's bedroom?
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think that's what's next.
Yeah.
And that's my
Let's do
part.
that.
Let's do it.
So let's go down to A deck.
A
All right.
deck, okay.
Also, as you can see, all the amazing crew has decorated with Christmas, uh, yeah, ornaments. So, even though you might be away from home and your families, this makes the place really
Hmm.
cozy.
And this is really nice. This is a map where with a ping of all the places where Sebastian has been, the Falkor and Falkor 2. Entonces, este mapa es pues tiene en Costa Rica llamamos chinches, un pin sobre cada sitio que ha visitado el barco. Así que, eh, por ejemplo, ven que Suramérica pues tiene muy poquitos, han estado lo más al sur es en Galápagos, pero de hecho el otro año y el próximo año van a estar pues cubriendo toda la parte pacífica y atlántica de Suramérica.
Sí.
Así que va a ser muy interesante seguir esas expediciones también.
Yeah, maybe just if you can we take a close up here,
Of
Sophie?
course.
I don't want to take it out, but just to tell people that this is where we are right now, Costa Rica, around here. And this is the place, as Bia was saying, that Falkor 2 has been working over the last year. And next year, they're gonna, and I guess that the plan for the next 10 years is just going all around the world. So they're gonna go for South America, then the Atlantic, some the Caribbean, then Costa Africa. And they will keep it going all around the world pretty much
Yeah,
until
the blue ones are from Falcor 2, right? The new
Yes.
vessel.
Yeah.
The red
Yes.
ones are from
Falkor Classic. Yeah,
Yes.
so yeah, we were very lucky to be part
Three
of the
expeditions.
shakedown cruises.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
our third Costa Rican expedition, so
Yeah.
we feel very lucky.
All right, so let's head up into the room. I wonder which room are we visiting?
Okay, turn left here.
Left. All right.
And then go all the way down.
Okay.
All right. Again, this is the area of the rooms. We usually need to be kind of quiet here to not wake people up. Oh, and then you have all the shoes in the halls, and it's pretty much because there are carpet floors inside the room, so they want to keep these carpets as clean as possible.
Okay. This is
Okay,
it.
I think
right
someone is missing the clothes from the laundry. I'm finding like clothes all over the hall.
Do you guys want me to come in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So let's turn on the light. Hey, it's me, Soph again. Just showing you an example of one of the cabins we have here on Falkor 2. This is a very typical cabin. It's double bunked. It's right now this one's not being shared, so you can put like your luggage and stuff up there, your spare towels, spare pillows, spare toilet paper. We have a whole toilet paper cabinet on the ship. Joanine mentioned this on the last open house. Yeah, just a really nice space to relax after work. We've got a snack shelf going on here
Oh, okay.
with my journals,
Nice.
and then if you want to take a peek in the bathroom, I know it's a bit tight, but everybody has their own bathroom and shower. So on Falkor Classic, we had to share bathrooms and showers, but now we're really lucky we have our own. So
Yeah,
that's
wow.
a little sneak peek into one of our cabins. That's something that we don't show very often.
Yeah,
So
totally.
this is
Yeah.
very exciting.
Very special time. Yeah, thanks,
Yes,
Sophie.
you're welcome.
Also, you have the TV, right, to watch the live stream
I
sometimes.
do. Yeah, it's right there. So
Ah.
sometimes I'll wake up and see where the dive is, what's going on. And then that way I'm a lot more prepared when I, oh my gosh, let's
Oops.
close that. That way I'm a lot more prepared when I do walk into the control room. I know what's happening, who to talk to, who's on watch. So it gives me a lot more context. Sorry, I'm just trying to put on my shoes. Yeah, it gives me a lot more context to what's going on, which is really helpful.
That's great.
Yeah, so thanks
Yeah.
for holding the gimbal, and
No,
let's...
thank you
Thank
for
you.
showing us a
Your
sneak
room.
peek into the room.
Yeah.
I would say it's one of the
Oh, here we
most
have
organized rooms.
a real life scientist.
Real life scientist. Gus, come
Hi.
on, tell us, what are you doing?
Can we peek? Okay.
Sorry.
Here, I'll go.
Hi everyone, my name is Gus Ramirez. I'm a professor at Cal State University in Los Angeles and microbial ecologist. I'm serving as the lead for rock microbiome interactions in this cruise. So after many
Have
different...
Octavia.
Okay, what is this?
Octavia,
Octavia,
our
beautiful name.
special guest. Yeah.
Octavia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a Roman emperor name. I love it. Yeah.
Totally. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, after all the action that we've had in this cruise, we've been out here for 2 weeks. We've got we got a lot of potential new discoveries, and we collected hundreds of samples. So someone's got to organize it, and at least for the rock, sediment, and microbiological experiments involving rocks that happen in this cruise, I'm the lead. So for the last 3 days, I've been spending 12 to 14 hours a day organizing report after report after report, so that a year from now or 2 years from now, we're in the middle of actually when we're in the middle of actually doing experiments in the lab, and there's any question as to where each sample comes from, um, what the sample or why the sample was picked up, how the sample was picked up by the ROV at the seafloor. Again, I'm thinking prospectively, like thinking of trying to remember what happened last week. A year or two from now, we've got to have a really good report, and that's a lot of what my time has been spent on. So I've been doing tons of report with as many pictures as possible that detail every one of my experimental and environmental collections that we've done over the past 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm like my job right now is kind of like being a fancy scribe. You know? Yeah, my students get to do all the cool science. So you guys should interview Oscar, who's probably actually smashing rocks. And
Smashing
doing
rocks.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here writing. So anyway, yeah, that's a big part of a scientist's life at sea too. Just recording everything. With,
Thank you, Gus, for sharing. Do we have any questions for Gus? No? All right. Well, Gus, maybe just to, we don't want to interrupt you from your report, but we're doing the live stream en español, así que
claro que
también preguntarte, aparte de la ciencia,
sí.
¿qué es lo que más te gusta de este barco y cuál ha sido tu momento preferido de esta expedición?
Bueno, definitivamente mi momento preferido, mis momentos preferidos siempre es hablar con los otros científicos, ¿no? Ya que todos estamos llenos de curiosidad y de pasión nos apasiona mucho lo que hacemos aquí y estar con un grupo, así que, bueno, las 24 horas, 7 días a la semana, las 2 semanas que estuvimos aquí, sin ninguna restricción en nuestro tiempo, en nuestras conversaciones y dónde pueden ir nuestras ideas y planes para el futuro, todo eso es algo muy, muy especial, ¿no? Y es lo que me llena de vitalidad y de energía como para seguir pensando en todo lo que es la ciencia en mi vida, pero ya como en el contexto de global, ¿no? No nada más en lo que a mí me interesa, pero en lo que a todos los oceanógrafos que están en este barco también les interesa. Y eso es lo más enriquecedor para mí, simplemente las pláticas que puedo tener en lo que estoy comiendo con mis colegas. Y sí, horas y horas de conversaciones científicas.
Dice que tuvimos una buena charla ayer bajo las estrellas.
Sí, ayer nos tocó ver una lluvia de meteoritos, ¿no? Y o sea que bueno, ni sabíamos, yo no sabía, alguien en el barco supo, tuve la suerte que nos mandaron al frente del barco en la proa, que justo tenemos un lugar donde aterrizan helicópteros y estuvimos ahí bajo las estrellas, acostados, viendo cientos de estrellas fugaces. ¿Cuántas contamos? Como unas 50 mínimo.
Sí, un montón.
Entre 50 y 100, sí, sin exagerar. Y fue algo espectacular, ¿no? Bajo todo el firmamento lleno de la Vía Láctea, es algo. Sí, es sí, una buenísima experiencia y eso es lo mejor, ¿no? Básicamente lo que no sabía que iba a pasar, siempre es lo mejor que pasa.
Así es. Muchas gracias, Gus.
Okay. Bye, Octavia.
Bye, Octavia. Aquí vamos a seguir llamando a Octavia. Thank you, Gus. So we're going to head over to the hangar, which is a more common space to be shown in the ship-to-shore interactions, but we never get too much of it. So let's go ahead. Again, if you have any questions or any comments, let us know in the chat. We're gonna go here. So as you see, there are many spaces in the Falkor 2. This is kind of a desk reception. Gracias, Bea. Okay, all right. I do also have some fun facts, so. All right, so here we are at the hangar. this is the most famous participant of the expedition. Is the ROV Sebastian, and as you can see, right now is definitely not underwater because we already finished our expedition. So we have the opportunity to see all the components of the ROV.
Yes.
Can we go?
Okay, estamos aquí observando el principal protagonista de estas expediciones. Sebastian es el robot que nos permite llegar a donde no podemos llegar. Como ven, tiene pues una cámara principal, esta es la cámara científica, pero tiene alrededor de 18 cámaras sobre el robot, así que podemos monitorear absolutamente todo, montones de sensores. Estos son pues una bandeja que de hecho cuando se necesita bajo el agua es capaz de desplazarse hasta aquí al frente y luego retraerse para que no estorbe cuando se hace video. Aquí tomamos pues todas las muestras de corales, de animales que queremos hacer. Tyler es uno de los pilotos del ROV. La expedición de junio fue su primera expedición como piloto de ROV y pues ahora volvimos y ha mejorado muchísimo sus habilidades con estos brazos, por ejemplo, que son los brazos robóticos que tiene Sebastian. Hi Tyler.
Hey Tyler. How's it going? So Bea was just saying,
I will introduce you to Octavia.
There you go. You're on third live, Tyler.
Yeah.
So this is Octavia, our
Beautiful.
special guest for this
Okay.
tour.
Yeah.
And yeah, as long as you have Octavia, she would like to know, what you're doing in the ship. Bea was telling us that you have definitely improve your skills in the ROV control room.
Sure.
So, when we came in June, I think it was one of your first expeditions.
That was the first one, yeah.
And now you're a total expert, man. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, well, specifically like what the job is like, or
Yeah.
yeah. So as an ROV pilot technician, you see what we do if you watch the live stream. So we are actively piloting the sub on the seafloor. We're using the manipulators. We're working with the scientists to get the samples that they want and do whatever science they're looking to do. When the sub's on deck like it is now, we're constantly adding new components, new sensors, doing maintenance, repairing things. So we get that kind of mix of flying the sub, doing the fun stuff, and then doing the technical, kind of hands-on work up here.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And when he's not with the ROV, he's playing Mario Kart.
Oh.
We're honing our hand-eye coordination in Mario Kart, beating up on Sergio.
Well, I don't know about that, but we'll have to see after tonight. So Tyler, well, I don't know if we have any questions, Sophie. All right. They're all fans. Okay, nice.
Oh.
The Wiggler is famous, man. Apparently.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us how's been your experience with this specific ROV, like Sebastian, in comparison to other ROVs?
Yeah, so I came from using smaller ROVs, so nothing on par with the size and complexity of this vehicle. But some unique things about ROV Sebastian is that Schmidt Ocean Institute designed and built it. So it's a custom vehicle, and it's made for science. So you can see the front porch will come out, so everything can be laid out there. We have these rams on the side as well. So if you've seen us operate in like vertical areas or pretty much any time we're trying to get samples, we can extend these rams, set them down on something so that the sub is not on top of anything and we have plenty of room to work. So when they designed this vehicle, they designed it for plenty of space for scientific applications, right? So this cruise had the super sampler, was a very sophisticated piece of equipment that was pumps and bottles, and it was spread out across the front. We've had all this area built up with equipment. We've had things all over the sub. So because this was built for science, we can really dial in and try to accomplish anything that scientists want, So there's a lot of flexibility with this system.
Sí, tal vez para comentarles un poco lo que Tyler nos está explicando, él estaba mencionando que Sebastian está pues básicamente hecho a la medida, o sea, como que lo hicieron específicamente para hacer ciencia, y eso es una de las diferencias tal vez que tiene con otros ROVs. Él viene de una experiencia de trabajar con ROVs más pequeños y constantemente están poniendo nuevos sensores, nuevos equipos en el robot, y en esta expedición en específico estaba comentando que teníamos algo que conocíamos como un super sampler o como un super muestreador de agua que permitía filtrar litros, literalmente cientos de litros de
Cientos
agua
de
se
litros.
muestrearon bajo
Yeah.
el agua para no tener que traerlos. Sebastián tiene unas botellas estas, de hecho, que pues, permiten colectar agua a diferentes profundidades. Con el brazo del robot se puede activar un sensor que cierra las botellas, pero en este caso, ya que estábamos estudiando algo que tiene mucho que ver con el flujo de agua, tenemos una ingeniera a bordo, parte del equipo científico, Amanda, y Julie, que son de Woodsville, que pusieron aquí un montón de botellas para filtrar agua. Así que ellos, entre los pilotos, todo el equipo técnico del ROV, el equipo científico, preparan a Sebastián para la investigación específica que se quiera hacer en ese momento.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yes, who's in the chat right now?
Who's in the chat right now?
Josh O'Brien, he says hi.
Hey Josh.
And Tyler.
Hey, Josh.
Hey Josh, we miss you.
Let's see. Oh, we've got a couple questions. What's the most challenging part about working on Sebastian? And Tyler, I think this is for you.
So for me, this is my first exposure to, like I said, a vehicle of this complexity. So there's so many things to remember and learn and figure out as we go. Every expedition we're doing different things. So setting up the super sampler we did this time is different than the last time a different super sampler was on board. So it's just kind of finding your way through this really broad range of skills, technologies, even down to the cables we use. So certain cables have to be fastened in different ways, and you have to know what cable are we using, how is it going to go on the sub, what do I need to do to maintain that cable to get it connected right. Just a ton of minutia, so many small things to remember. So that's the biggest challenge for me as a new pilot, working with a vehicle like this. Flying-wise, it's like hydrothermal vents are challenging. I don't know if the question was addressing that, but flying in that area is, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
We have another question. What part do you end up needing to fix or replace the most?
Oh, good question.
That is a great question.
Because I don't have a mic on me.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So the question that we got from the chat is, what is the part that you specifically end up replacing the most, or that takes up the most maintenance?
Yeah. So this is only my 4th ROV cruise, so I haven't seen like the broad span of Sebastian, but we have been trying to troubleshoot things as we go. So we've done work on the arms, we've done work on the thrusters, we've replaced thrusters. So those parts that have a lot of movement, a lot of wear and tear, are parts that tend to need more attention, right? So if you put the arm in a hydrothermal vent, it heats up, that's gonna, mess some stuff on the inside. And the vents, the thrusters, we're running those all of the time. So we're constantly flushing oil, replacing oil, trying to keep those tuned up, and overhauling them whenever we have the chance. So those are the main things I've seen and have done a bit of work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have someone asking you, Tyler, if you have a background in engineering. What's your background?
Oh my God. So my most recent background is I went to school for marine technology. So I went to Northwestern Michigan College, which is a small school in Michigan that has an academic program. You can get a degree in marine tech, which involves ROV operations, sonar, data processing, multi-beam, that kind of stuff. Also like electronics, a little bit of hydraulics, programming. So that's my background, is a degree that's specifically meant to give you a broad base of skills, but also hands-on work with these types of systems. Before that, I did like art and writing and winemaking and a whole bunch of other things. So this is a bit of a pivot for me, but I do have a bit of a technical background.
Yep. Tal vez para repetir las preguntas que le hicieron a Tyler en español, así rápidamente le preguntaron qué es lo más retador de su experiencia como piloto, y pues básicamente es tener la cabeza en tantas cosas, porque hay muchas detalles que tiene que aprender sobre cómo están conectados todos los equipos, estar pues monitoreando todo en las pantallas al mismo tiempo que están recolectando y asegurándose que Sebastián no va a chocar y dañarse. Así que eso es como una de las partes más retadoras, y que mucho del trabajo que se hace para reemplazar, o sea, lo que más se daña tal vez tiene que ver con los brazos robóticos y
con las propelas.
Y con las propelas.
Que las podemos ver allá en aquella esquina, que son como básicamente los que impulsan al ROV. Sí, bueno, no. Tyler,
Yeah.
many thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, for telling us. I don't know if we have any more questions. Oh,
Okay. No, I'm good.
keep it going.
How many spare parts? That is a great question. So we have tools and equipment and spare parts spread out across this main deck. So just in the hangar here, we have a few toolboxes back there. We've got a bunch of tools. As you guys came in, you walked past another 4 sets of toolboxes at the front. We have this container here. So this shipping container is an office full of spare parts. We have another shipping container on the deck that is full of the larger components like the suction sampler jars and things we put on the sub. We have a robotics lab that has more parts and our office. So
Lots of parts.
lots of parts. We're also inventorying those parts, and that's fun to go through drawers and drawers of tiny things and trying to write them down and enter them into a system. So yeah, huge system, lots of parts, just lots of pieces everywhere. It takes a lot of different chunks of technology to run this thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Tyler. Just gonna translate really fast. Tyler estaba comentando que la pregunta era que cuántas partes de repuestos hay en el barco para el ROV y pues realmente la cantidad no se sabe ya que son demasiadas, pero sí nos estaba comentando que hay varios espacios donde trabajan, entonces hay como un taller, hay un contenedor especial donde tienen pues todas estas piezas y puede ir desde tornillos muy pequeñitos hasta componentes ya más grandes. Entonces tienen este contenedor que está aquí y luego tienen otro contenedor adicional que ahorita de hecho vamos a pasar, que está en la parte del aft deck. Yes, Sophie, any more questions? You're here? No, thanks.
I'm sorry, I have to ask for Octavia again.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I thought
All
we
right.
were bonding, but
I'll see you.
we'll see you,
We'll see you
on the-
later.
Yeah.
The
See you on the
Wiggler, man.
ship.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. All right. Should we go this way, Sophie? A little tour around the aft deck? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
we're gonna.
As you can see, we are packing right now, sadly, because we finished our expedition. So basically, today we are putting all stuff together again on these boxes and
Yeah. Not
trying
only.
to clean all the spaces.
Yeah. Not only organizing data, as Gus was saying, but also organizing all the things
All
we
the
brought
equipment.
because
Oh, sorry,
one
Octavia.
of the most important things is that after this expedition, there is another expedition. So they usually want us to have like everything ready to get and be right on time for the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe before we go to the aft deck, just wanted to briefly show the CTD
Yeah.
really quick.
That might
It's-
be another Sergio's
Yeah,
favorite part.
it's not as shiny and fascinating as the ROV, but definitely is of great utility and very useful in terms of oceanographic knowledge and data. So this is called CTD, and it stands for conductivity, temperature, and depth. So pretty much, apart from those 3 parameters that I just told you, it has an oxygen sensor, fluorescence to measure the chlorophyll, and it has a transmissometer to measure the particle density in the water column. And this is pretty much a metallic frame that has the sensors, as Sophie was showing, and it has this row set of 24 bottles, I believe. Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, 24 bottles. These are called the Neskin bottles, and as you saw earlier, we have a set of this on the Sebastian, and then we have 24 here, and this is pretty much aimed to take water samples. So usually what you have here is that these lids are open in the top and the bottom, and this are usually, they go down when they're launched, they go out open, and then from the ship we're able to trigger them at a specific depth. So if, let's say, you want a water sample from 3,000 meters, you can have many of those samples, so then we can filter for microbes or for any specific parameters such as, I don't know, pH or microplastics, that actually we have a colleague that's working on that. And yes, this is a very useful tool, the CTD, and yeah, it's one of the definitely workhorses for oceanography.
Ok, sí, tal vez para explicarlo rápidamente en español, Sergio trabaja con este equipo, él es oceanógrafo, además de biólogo marino, y en este equipo pues hay unos sensores que permiten medir conductividad, temperatura y profundidad, y además de esos sensores tiene todas estas botellas que son muy similares a las que les enseñamos ahora sobre el robot. Todo este equipo que se conoce como la roseta está también conectado a un cable hasta el barco y se puede bajar pues a la profundidad que necesitemos. Estas botellas, como Sergio les comentaba, bajan abiertas, tienen dos tapas, y desde el barco, desde la sala de control de cómputo, podemos activar ese mecanismo para cerrar las botellas y obtener muestras de agua a la profundidad que necesitemos. Así que pues ahí se pueden hacer muchos estudios relacionados al agua. Antes también les mostrábamos que estamos en proceso de empacar todo nuestro equipo, ya que terminamos la expedición, así que además de Gus, que estaba haciendo su reporte, yo ya terminé el mío,
Yo no lo he
por
terminado.
suerte. Pero bueno, además de eso también estamos montando todos estos equipos para prepararnos y bajarnos el próximo sábado en Golfito.
Así es, muchas gracias, Bea. Y bueno, vamos a pasar a esta área, que es un área pues bastante importante, que es lo que le llaman el aft deck, o pues la borda trasera. Y básicamente es un sitio, como pueden ver, tiene un piso diferente de madera, y básicamente este piso de madera es para poder pues pues trasladar todos los equipos y todos los contenedores y pues que no se dañe. Y básicamente pues acá tenemos en el fondo, como pueden ver, lo que se le llama un marco en A, o un A-frame, que sirve para desplegar equipos. Tenemos la grúa, diferentes grúas, tenemos los botes salvavidas, eh, pues un winch también especializado. Entonces, como pueden ver, son muchísimas cosas. No todas estas cosas se utilizan en una sola expedición, pero sí que se mantienen en el barco para que estén disponibles para cuando los equipos científicos las requieran. Ellos pues fácilmente cambian la configuración del aft deck para adecuarlos a las necesidades que tengan en términos científicos.
Sí, de hecho, por ejemplo, si tuviéramos un contenedor con un laboratorio muy especializado, podríamos traer nuestro propio contenedor, ponerlo acá en el deck y trabajar desde nuestro propio espacio. Así que las posibilidades que nos ofrecen para hacer investigación, increíbles,
Infinitas.
definitivamente.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just saying that this is the aft deck. It's a place where we have all the containers with some of the specialized equipment. We have a lot of winches, the A-frames, the big crane, and all these containers have specialized equipment that is not always used in every expedition, but that remains in the ship to be readily available for when the scientists need to use it. So yeah, again, if you
Yes.
have any questions or any comments, put it in the chat. Yeah, and we
Yeah,
will.
we can explore inside maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go in.
Somebody asked how often do you launch the CTD examples? Is it as much as the ROV?
That's a very good question. So usually the ROV takes the majority of time of the dives, I'm sorry, of the vessel time or operations. So for example, in this cruise we had 5 CTDs compared to uh,
Or 10 maybe.
11 dives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Dives.
like 11, 12 dives. So yes, usually we have more dives of the ROV rather than the CTD. But yes, I'm only talking for the Octopus Odyssey expedition. In the previous expedition we had in June, we had more CTDs. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta prioritize, and of course, um, I mean, although the CTD is very useful, it's a more common equipment that universities usually have. So yeah, being here on the Falkor 2, of course, we use the CTD, but definitely what we want to make the most out of it is the availability of having the ROV Sebastian. So that usually, yeah, we have more dives of the CTD, of the ROV, rather than the CTD deployments.
Sí, la pregunta era si qué tan frecuentemente se utiliza el CTD y la roseta para pues, recolectar agua, y Sergio comentaba que pues la mayor parte del tiempo de operación lo obtiene Sebastian, ya que es el equipo más caro y tal vez el menos accesible. Toda la roseta son equipos que podemos a veces hasta con la mano, ¿verdad? Lanzar, obviamente.
Sí.
Al lanzar una roseta pues a 1000 metros de profundidad tomaría mucho esfuerzo físico, pero son equipos un poco más comunes, así que también depende mucho de los propósitos de cada investigación. En el caso de Octopus Odyssey, pues hemos utilizado más que todo el ROV, pero sí tenemos algunas estaciones de CTD que Sergio ha estado explorando.
Sí, muchas gracias, Bea. And thanks a lot for the question. We'll go into the main lab. And while we go there, just to comment that usually, and I would say that this is true for all the expeditions on Falkor 2, like the scientists build their plan around the availability of the ROV. So during the time the ROV is not on the water, we can have other deployments of different measurements, such as the CTD, or sometimes we can do bathymetric mapping with the eco sounders. We can do subsea bottom sampling, and many other stuff. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that yeah, this ship definitely has the best available tools in science to answer all the questions, or at least try to answer all the questions. Okay, where's Octavia? You have Octavia?
Octavia, yo ando
Okay.
Octavia. Okay. Ok, estamos ingresando al sector de los laboratorios que tenemos a disposición acá para el equipo científico. A veces nos entretenemos pues también haciendo algunos dibujos mientras esperamos el ROV. Y aquí pues en el caso de esta expedición, lo conocemos como el Hydrolab.
Hydrolab,
¿cierto?
yes.
Sí, aquí tenemos pues agua a disposición para trabajar y demás.
AKA Sci Photo Station.
Ajá. Y en realidad en esta expedición lo utilizamos como una estación de foto, pues ahora como les decíamos ya estamos guardando todo, pero cuando veníamos con los especímenes pasábamos por acá y es donde tenemos pues esas primeras imágenes de todas las muestras que recolectamos con el ROV Sebastian.
Sí, tal vez, well, maybe just to translate that, this is the Hydrolab, and as Bia was saying, this is a very important part of the ship because it's like the lab, the first lab that you come across from the hangar to the main lab. So in this particular expedition, we were using this space to have the Sci Photo Station, and that's pretty much a station in which we have different cameras with different levels of detail to photograph the specimens as fresh as possible. And I was going to show that it's a very well-equipped laboratory. So for example, we have the chance to have really available some chill seawater, for example. So this is water that comes from the ocean. So the ship is, let's say, pumping this from the ocean, and then we can easily just fill our containers. Just let me demonstrate it. Well, it's just normal tap, but usually this is not that common in research vessels, and this has a specific temperature to avoid the degradation of the specimen's DNA or to avoid any stress. And also, just to, since we are on a more informal tour, just to tell you also that this ship is great because you have built-in speakers on every lab. So, and this is one of my favorite things of this ship, because in other vessels you're always carrying your speaker, but in here you just go and plug your phone through Bluetooth connection, and then you can blast some good jams while you work.
Yeah, we made some jams for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday was a really nice day.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. Well, of course, a lot of Latin American music on this cruise.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a really nice part. And you can see all the safety equipment, all the hard hats, the live vessels. So this is really important because, of course, we are working, but we need to always keep ourselves secure. Briefly going to show you another special place. This is the cold lab or the cold room, and this is a place in which the temperature is kind of low, so maybe Sophie can go in.
So maybe just Sophie will go in.
Yeah, so yesterday this looked really different than the way it looks right now. This was filled with equipment. We had a colleague that was running some experiments on corals. And yeah, usually when we get all the samples from the ROV hangar, before they go into the ROV station, they are put here and sent them by for when we are ready. So we take them one by one. So again, to avoid any degradation or stress on the animals.
Sí, tal vez para traducir, afuera Sergio les estaba enseñando que en los fregaderos que tenemos por acá en los laboratorios tenemos acceso a agua fría que viene directamente del mar. Eso es Esto es pues algo que no todos los barcos de investigación tienen, algo tan sencillo como poder tener agua fría. Este es el cuarto frío, hace bastante frío, ya después de unos minutos aquí pues sí, dan ganas de ir a buscar abrigo. Y este es el primer, pues el espacio donde después de traer los especímenes desde el robot, los ponemos acá porque el agua que está pues muy profunda, por supuesto está muy frío. Oh yeah, okay, okay. All right. Well, we'll get out of the connection for a while. It's really cold in there, even for internet connection.
Yeah, exactly.
So, estábamos mostrando el cuarto frío. Como Sergio les había mostrado, pues acá tenemos acceso a agua fría y después de que fotografiamos los especímenes, mientras estamos en ese proceso de preservarlos y estudiarlos con más detalle, los pasamos al cuarto frío, ya que pues estos organismos vienen de agua que está a 2 grados Celsius, así que es importante mantenerlos a una temperatura baja para evitar que se degrade su ADN, ya que muchos de los análisis que hacemos son genéticos. Por acá tenemos otros espacios de laboratorios. Vamos a pasar a este primero, que es el wet lab o el laboratorio húmedo. Y aquí tenemos varias personas empacando, como les comentábamos ahora. Así que bueno, está un poco desordenado. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Aquí
yeah.
tenemos a pues María Sandoval, ella es investigadora de la Universidad de Costa Rica. Vamos a darle un micrófono. Ella es micropaleontóloga, amante de los sedimentos marinos del fondo oceánico.
Hola, ¿me escuchan? Sí,
Ya.
ahora sí. Hola, muchísimas gracias. Bueno, aquí para contarles un poco, esta era la estación donde se trabajaban principalmente la preparación de muestras de roca y bueno, ya están empacadas acá, teníamos bastantes, tanto de rocas volcánicas como rocas sedimentarias. Pero tenemos un hallazgo muy interesante que les queremos mostrar acá y que los dejamos sin envolver todavía para que los pudieran ver, que son 4 fósiles de ballena picuda. Esto es un... Bueno, estos vean el tamaño que tienen, es bastante pesado, son fósiles de este tipo de cetáceos. Y a ver, para contarles qué más, estos podrían tener edades entre 5 o 7 millones de años, se encuentran en el tope de los montes submarinos que tenemos en este sector. Y, ¿qué más?
No sé, para mí fue uno de los momentos más emocionantes. Como,
Sí.
O sea, jamás creí encontrar un fósil en mi vida y encontrar 4 a 3 kilómetros de profundidad fue... Pues,
Exacto, y expuestos así relativamente fácil de ver, entonces lo pueden ver en los videos o ustedes inclusive puede ser que los hayan visto y este hallazgo es muy interesante, se van a estar trabajando en la Escuela Centroamericana de Geología y también con un investigador de la Universidad de Pisa que es paleontólogo de este tipo de organismos.
Maria, maybe you can also briefly translate what you said
Yeah,
to English?
yeah, sure. So here is where we're working with the rocks, and well, they are already packed. Principally, we have lavas at the basement of the seamounts, but also we have sedimentary rocks that we studied in this expedition. But at the top of these seamounts, we have very nice foundings that we found some fossils from whale skull. They are whale skulls, and so this is very heavy. And look at the size. And we found it at the top of the seamount. So this is very unique also. So about the age, we don't have exactly an idea about the age, but it could be that for sure is an extinct animal. It's a cetacean, but it could have like 5 or 7 million years ago old.
wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Maria,
Very amazing.
can you do the sounding thing?
Yes.
That's really nice. Cuidado
Yeah.
que corta.
Oh,
Eso me estoy-
Yay. Okay. Dangerous. So yes, I have that. This is recovered by a crust of polymetallic oxide crust. So the replacement of the bone was made of this kind of oxides. So you can hear the sound, it's metallic. This one also. This one.
Yeah, I can hear
Yes.
it.
That's
Yeah.
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Maria works well, of course, with these fossils that you are seeing, but most of her work comes from really, really tiny fossils where you need a microscope
Yeah.
to see them, and it's pretty incredible because she's able to put an age to those sediments using
Yes.
microfossils.
Exactly. I am not a specialist on vertebrates, so I will work with a colleague from University of Pisa in Italy that he's an specialist on those kind of fossils. So I will work with the sediments that surrounds the fossils, these vertebrate fossils, trying to give an exact age of those. Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Maria. Gracias. Maybe Sophie, we can show them this part because also in this lab we have colleagues from the Zoology Museum of University of Costa Rica working on the preservation of the specimens. So following up of the process, the animals come out of the ROV, they go through the cold room, then to the photo station, and right away they get in here. And this is usually the place where Odalis Cabriti and Leonardo Chacon from University of Costa Rica are working, taking the tissue samples for genetics, but also preserving the whole specimen in different types of substances, mainly ethanol. And this, as you can see, allows the specimen to be preserved in such a way that it can then later on be used also for different analysis, such as genetic analysis. But pretty much all this goes to the collection of the museum, so for other people interested in these specimens can go and visit the museum and take a closer look at this animal. So what we have here is three type of octocorals. Okay, so these are two octocorals. This is a glass sponge, as you can see here, that has some octocorals on
Yeah,
top,
there
I
were
believe,
octocorals, yeah.
right? And this is another type of sponge. So this is not by casualty. I would say that these two specimens, the sponges or these two type of groups, sponges and the octocorals, are one of the most abundant animals at the seafloor. So yeah, usually they're like hotels for animals. So you can see like a lot of other animals living inside and in harmony with the corals and the sponges. So yes,
Yes.
Bea.
Ok, tal vez para traducirles lo que Sergio estaba explicando, acá tenemos algunos especímenes ya preservados. Thank you. Acá tenemos algunos especímenes ya preservados. En este caso tenemos una esponja que tiene algunos octocorales creciendo encima. Y estos son dos octocorales. Como Sergio comentaba, esto no es casualidad. Las esponjas y los corales son uno de los principales grupos de animales que podemos encontrar en el mar profundo. Acá tenemos otra esponja de vidrio. Todo esto pues está hecho de sílice y de hecho pues cuando se manipulan hay que tener cuidado porque se pueden introducir espinas o incluso cortarse. En esta estación de trabajo es donde después de tomar las fotos traemos los animales acá y acá han estado trabajando en este caso Alice Cabridi y Leonardo Chacón de la Universidad de Costa Rica. Todos estos especímenes son bastante importantes, tenemos varias nuevas especies, de hecho, muchos nuevos reportes para el país y pues todo esto va a fortalecer la colección del Museo de Zoología y también establecer colaboraciones con expertos en diferentes grupos para poder identificar posteriormente estos especímenes. Vamos a ir al otro laboratorio,
Sí. Is there any questions on the chat?
laboratorio principal.
No, not yet.
Everyone's just really impressed by the
By the fossils,
All right,
yeah.
nice.
We all love fossils.
So we're gonna come here in the main lab, and just the first thing that you might notice is this big fridges that we also have some in the hydro lab and the wet lab. So these are special freezers with different temperatures. So for example, this is like for minus 81, minus 80, and yeah, all along to keep all the special samples that need to be frozen at particular temperatures for genomic analysis. So yeah, here in the main lab, also we have this hoods that we call it some campanas en español or capillas. This is to work with different type of substances um, and avoid that all the fumes get inside the ship. And yes, and as we see, we have pretty much all the desks and the tables kind of empty and clear because, as Bia said, we have been packing since we're on transit, and we can see all the scientists preparing their final reports. So yeah, maybe we can go and have a
Yes.
look over here.
Sí, ahora les estaba mostrando que hay diferentes refrigeradores a diferentes temperaturas. En este caso tenemos a menos 80, menos 40, a menos 4. Tenemos diferentes temperaturas dependiendo de las muestras con las que trabajamos para que estas no se pierdan. También tenemos estas capillas donde podemos pues trabajar con algunos químicos que tal vez son un poco más peligrosos y sí, pues comentando un poco la seguridad del barco, además de todo el tratamiento de desechos que Sergio les comentaba, también hay todo un protocolo para tratar las sustancias, sean ácidas, básicas y de acuerdo a su toxicidad. Así que pues ahora, como ven, el laboratorio está bastante limpio, ya todos están pues preparando sus reportes, limpiando, pero tenemos algunas personas trabajando por acá,
Sí.
tal vez podamos hablar con algunos de ellos.
So here we have Jeff. Jeff, can we interrupt you?
Sure.
Yeah. So can you take? So well, we are live on YouTube for the open house of the Schmidt Ocean. Yes. So can you tell us a bit more, like what are you doing here, and maybe what's the most astounding thing that you have encountered in this expedition?
Yes. Hi, my name is Jeff Wheat. I'm with the University of Alaska Fairbanks. I'm a geochemist, and we're out here studying how water flows underneath the ocean crust, as well as all the other wild stuff that we're doing with the organisms. And so as this water flows through the crust, it dissolves some minerals in places and precipitates them in others. And what we're doing out here is trying to collect some of that fluid as it goes through the crust and as it exits. And one of the interesting things we're finding, we have some oxygen and temperature sensors, shows different correlations between the different seamounts and features on the seafloor that we're collecting fluids. So that has something to do with how the water flows through the ocean crust. And hopefully with the fluids that we've collected, we'll analyze them, and that'll give us more information as to what's going on in the subsurface.
Nice. Thank you, Jeff.
All right.
Can you tell us what's your favorite part of the vessel?
The favorite part of the vessel. It's got to be the cushions, the cushy chairs and benches up on the one of the upper decks.
Nice. Yeah.
We went there.
Yeah, beautiful up there. But also another great feature of the boat is where the ROVs are. Having your own dedicated ROV on a ship, and having all that space for those guys to work in makes the vehicle more robust, and that's a wonderful capability of having it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great thing to say coming from you, right? That you've been in how many expeditions?
I go to sea a couple times a year. I've used a lot of ROVs, a lot of subs, and having something like this where they're permanently on the boat is just wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Do you have any questions for me? No. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Tal vez para explicarles un poco lo que Jeff nos estaba comentando, él trabaja en Alaska y él ha estado estudiando pues básicamente ese flujo de agua a través de la corteza terrestre y cómo pues influencia todos estos procesos oceanográficos que estamos viendo en los montes submarinos y otras estructuras geográficas que estamos estudiando. It's pretty amazing your work, by the way. Jeff fue una de las primeras personas en visitar esta zona precisamente por estudiar este flujo de calor, y gracias a esa investigación es que descubrieron los pulpos. Así que es un ejemplo de cómo todas estas interdisciplinas están coordinadas. Vamos donde Andy.
Sí.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Como bien decía Beatriz, así como Jeff ha estado trabajando en este sitio, él junto con nuestro colega Andy Fisher ha sido de los pioneros que han mostrado interés sobre esta región, particularmente desde hace ya más de 10 años, 20, 15 años que han estado interesados. Y bueno, por acá Andy nos va a comentar un poco. Andy, welcome. We are live for the open house of the Schmidt Ocean. So yeah, can you tell us a bit more on what you're doing here in the ship and some of the experiences you've had on board?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Andy Fisher from the University of California at Santa Cruz, and I had the privilege of coming out to work in this area a little over 20 years ago, and we were studying a series of outcrops, places where volcanic rock sticks up from the bottom of the ocean, and all around the volcanic outcrops there's sediment, but where we have the volcanic rock, surfaces, then travel many kilometers underneath the sediment, and then come back out again at another volcanic feature. And we were mapping that out. We thought it might occur, but we didn't know when we first came out here.
Oh, we can't hear you. It says right here.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
There you go.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Should I start again?
If you, yes.
Yeah,
please,
my
sorry.
apologies. Yeah, technology. My apologies.
Technology.
I'm Andy Fisher from the University of California at Santa Cruz. I'm very happy to be out here. The first time we came out, about 22 years ago, we were looking at these volcanic rock features. In the bottom of the ocean, you can see these mountains that stick up from the bottom of the ocean. They stick up above the sediment, and they're made of volcanic rock, and they allow cold water to get in to the seafloor and then flow horizontally below the sediment and then come back out again. And they can be separated by tens of kilometers. The water that comes out is warmer and it's changed chemically and it supports all kinds of life. So we didn't know that when we first came out, but we tried to map out where the water went. And then about 10 years ago we came back and we were able to dive with a remotely operated vehicle and see what was down there for the first time. And that's when we saw the octopus. So this trip now is really exciting because I'm out with a big group of biologists, all different expertise in different kinds of animals, from the microbiology to the octopus to worms and echinoderms and corals and all different kinds of animals. So we're learning all about them and how they fit together with this complicated system of the fluids and the heat.
Amazing. Gracias, Andy. Andy nos está comentando que ellos, ¿verdad? Junto con Jeff, que también nos estaba comentando algo similar, visitaron esta zona hace aproximadamente 22 años y en ese momento empezaron a realizar estos mapas de todas estas montañas o montes submarinos o diferentes accidentes geográficos que tenemos en el fondo oceánico y básicamente estos, pues por decirlo así, montes submarinos emergen del sedimento y el hecho de que no haya sedimento sobre ellos hace que el agua pueda penetrar la roca. Estos son lavas básicamente producidos por actividad volcánica y esa roca pues tiene bastante, es porosa, ¿verdad? No es como una roca totalmente compacta, sino que tiene poros y hay diferentes cosas que pasan que permite que el agua ingrese y que luego viaje por la corteza, gane un poco de calor y salga unos kilómetros después en otra estructura geológica. Así que eso es lo que estamos estudiando. Ellos vinieron hace 22 años a estudiar eso, luego volvieron hace 10 años ya con un submarino y encontraron los pulpos, lo cual fue una gran sorpresa. Y él pues nos comenta cómo esta expedición Octopus Odyssey ha venido como a integrar todo ese proceso de aprendizaje, ya no solo desde mediciones de flujo de agua y más como parte de investigaciones físicas o geofísicas, sino como todo eso se conecta con la microbiología, toda la biología de los pulpos y todos los organismos que están alrededor. Así que Andy nos ha ayudado como a compilar todos estos mapas. Estos son los primeros mapas, ¿verdad? Con detalle que tenemos de esta zona, que como Sergio les comentaba antes, pues estamos haciendo un trabajo, sobre todo el equipo costarricense, para nombrarlos
Sí.
y ponerles nombres en los mapas.
Sí. Thank you very much, Andy. And just before we go, we have any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have there been any interesting trends in the temperature? Have there been any interesting trends in the temperature that you've seen so far throughout this expedition?
Yes, in some cases we put temperature sensors that are inside the fluid as it's discharging coming out of these old volcanoes, and we see tidal variations in the temperature. In some cases the temperature is warmer, some cases it's cooler. The first time we came, it seemed like things were quite vigorous, where the water was coming out. One time we came back the next year and it was slower. Now we realize it's changing on many different timescales. So we don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now or 20 years from now, but probably it'll change again.
Yeah.
La pregunta era si han encontrado algunos pues datos interesantes sobre esos cambios de temperatura que han estado estudiando y sí, bastantes de hecho. El pasado junio, por ejemplo en el monte submarino Tengo Set encontramos un agujero y en ese momento Rachel, que es una colega de Andy, dejó ahí un sensor de temperatura que se dejó desde junio, así que tenemos 6 meses de datos donde hemos visto cómo esa temperatura varía con cambios de marea. Que ¿verdad? A veces uno se imagina que la marea solo afecta pues en la costa, cuando vemos que en la playa empieza a subir la marea y demás, pero esos cambios de marea también tienen un impacto en el fondo oceánico y no sabemos qué va a pasar en 10 años. Andy comenta que han venido en otras oportunidades y hay un montón de agua caliente saliendo, ¿verdad? Como un flujo más constante, pero ahora nos estamos dando cuenta que ese flujo puede variar muchísimo y que aún tenemos mucho por estudiar, ¿cierto?
Yeah.
¿Cierto?
See?
Andy's Spanish is good. Actually.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
Spanish,
welcome.
yeah,
He put a lot of names to these underwater features
that's
in
true.
Spanish.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
Well,
yeah.
it's teamwork this time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great privilege.
Thank you, Andy. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. So while we move on, thanks, Andy. Also, just wanted to mention that, as you
Octavia.
might have already seen, this cruise is really important because the expedition is being co-leaded by two scientists, Beth Orcutt and Don Jorge Cortez. So that same proportion is the same thing that we see on the scientific party group. So we have, I would say, gender balanced, more women rather than men. So this is something that is really important. And also a mix of senior scientists with early career scientists such as us. So it's a really good thing for science overall. So we can not only take data, but learn about this more experimental scientist. Here we have Leonardo, which, as we already told you, he works in the other lab, preserving the specimens once they get them from the site photo station. So,
Tal vez mientras Leo se prepara con el micrófono, Sergio les estaba comentando que algo muy interesante de esta expedición es que ha sido coliderada por una investigadora estadounidense y un investigador costarricense, el doctor Jorge Cortés y la doctora Beth Orcutt, y que pues es interesante como tenemos una gran diversidad de personas a bordo, somos más mujeres que hombres y tenemos pues un balance entre personas ya como investigadoras senior y también personas que estamos aún en procesos tempranos de nuestras carreras, así que ha sido pues mucha oportunidad para todos. Y un ejemplo de ese tal vez sea Leo, que Leonardo Chacón es de la Universidad de Costa Rica, nos va a comentar un poco el trabajo que ha estado haciendo con los equinodermos.
Hola, buenas, muchas gracias. Para mí ha sido un honor estar aquí. Mi nombre es Leonardo Chacón. He sido asistente voluntario principalmente en el Museo de Zoología de la Universidad de Costa Rica por alrededor de 10 años. Y bueno, ahora tengo la oportunidad de estar acá compartiendo con este grupo tan impresionante de científicos en este barco tan equipado tecnológicamente hablando, que ha sido más allá de los sueños imaginables para mí en realidad. Y pues tengo la fortuna de poder compartirles uno de los grupos más importantes y emblemáticos, no solo en el reino marino, sino también en las profundidades del mar. Estos son los equinodermos y casualmente para esta expedición es el grupo que tenemos más representado en términos del número de muestras. Por acá, para empezar, tenemos un crinoide pedunculado. Aquí vemos la corona y el pedúnculo, también son llamados lirios de mar. En este caso hubo un proceso de fractura por el estrés mecánico y los cambios de temperatura que sufren estos organismos, a los cuales son bastante sensibles. Y por este otro lado tenemos un crinoide del tipo comatúlida. Estos organismos se les llaman también estrellas emplumadas y, contrario a lo que se cree popularmente, son bastante móviles y capaces de nadar para evitar depredación principalmente. Otros de los organismos que han sido bastante impresionantes para mí de encontrar son las estrellas de mar, que son bastante abundantes. Esta de acá se llama Solaster pacificus y es un nuevo registro para Costa Rica y probablemente para Centroamérica. Es un organismo depredador bastante especializado. A su lado tenemos una estrellita del grupo de la familia Pterasteridae, probablemente el género Pteraster o Hymenaster, no estamos aún muy seguros y necesitamos pues mayores estudios. De este otro lado tenemos un ofiuro, se les llama estrella serpiente también, y acá lo que les pongo es un octocoral sobre el cual estaba asociado. Este tipo de organismos es uno de los más comunes en las regiones profundas y a lo largo de los videos podíamos ver cómo eran bastante frecuentes sobre diversos grupos de octocorales. También contamos con algunos pepinos. Estas dos especies de acá se notan bastante dañadas y es que son organismos bastante frágiles y susceptibles al daño mecánico y posiblemente sean representantes de especies completamente nuevas para la ciencia. Este erizo que tenemos acá es un erizo irregular, se llama Cystechinus loveni y se les llama irregulares porque, contrario a los erizos que comúnmente conocemos como erizos regulares, presentan una migración en el eje anterior y posterior. Eso quiere decir que la boca y el ano no están en el mismo eje, sino que hay una migración, y en este caso el ano se encuentra en esta parte y la boca está en la parte de abajo del animal, y este flanco de acá sería la parte anterior, y cuando él se desplaza en el sedimento básicamente lo hace de esta manera, y es así como va atacando el sedimento y se alimenta eh, propiamente de todos esos organismos que caen de la nieve marina y pues están en el fondo. Este otro erizo que tenemos por acá es de la familia Echinoturidae, es un erizo regular, el ano está en la posición apical del organismo y la boca está en la posición pues de abajo del animal, y es por eso que se llaman erizos regulares. Son bastante comunes también en estas regiones y pues son organismos sumamente especializados. Algunas de las preguntas que nos han llegado en los distintos ship to shores que hemos tenido acá es cuáles son las principales adaptaciones que presentan los equinodermos para vivir en estas regiones de tanta profundidad, y pues algunos de ellos presentan cuido parental, presentan algún tipo de marsupio, ya sea en sus bursas o en sus estructuras de la testa, como en el caso de algunos erizos irregulares, y pues también tenemos casos de hermafroditismo, por ejemplo en algunos pepinos de mar. También muchos pepinos son capaces de nadar y de esta forma alcanzar los recursos sobre los cuales ellos prefieren comer, porque a pesar de que contamos con extensas regiones de planicies en donde se depositan los sedimentos, ellos tienen cierta predilección por sedimentos que han sido previamente digeridos o modificados por bacterias. Esto quiere decir que prefieren sedimentos que tienen cierta cantidad de tiempo de estar en el fondo y no los sedimentos que vienen recién cayendo. Y pues para mí ha sido un verdadero placer compartir con ustedes esta información. Si tienen preguntas, estamos para servirles, y muchas gracias por la oportunidad.
Muchísimas gracias, Leo. So I'm just gonna briefly translate what Leo was saying. So we have Leo has been working with the preservation of the specimens. He's a specialist in echinoderm, so he was showing some of the sea stars. These are the feather sea stars, the crinoids, some of the corals, brittle stars, some holothurians or sea cucumbers, and some pretty weird-looking sea urchins, as you can see, with a really nice pigment over there. So again, if you have any, do we have any questions, Sophie?
What happened to the snail that was on this crinoid? There was like a snail.
Yeah,
There
we
was
collected
maybe
that snail, yeah. Actually, we had Fio there. Fiorella is from the University of Costa Rica as well. She's the mollusk expert on board. And I don't know, Fio, do you have anything to say about the snail?
The
El
snail that
caracol
was on
que
the
estaba
crinoid.
en el...
Hello. We don't know for sure what specimen is yet, what family. Maybe we are slight snail,
Mhm.
but it's a juvenile, so it will be
Ah.
difficult to identify.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Fio.
Gracias.
And yes,
Yeah.
we will move on. We have so many scientists here, but we have, I think, not enough time. So we're gonna head over to one of our most favorite places. Thanks to all the amazing scientists that were here in the main lab, and we're gonna head out to the. I guess we can go to the control room, right? So this is the computer lab. We'll come here in a second. And before that, we will go to one of the most special places in the vessel, and that is the control room. So right now, it's actually very, I would say, very ideal to look, because this is usually really dark for the pilots to be able to watch and look all the screens. And here you can pretty much see all the controls, the some types of sticks, joysticks, all the buttons that they use to control the ROV, the different instruments, the ROV arms. So this is really, and well, maybe Bea can agree with me, watching these pilots and the co-pilots, because it's not just only one person, but several persons changing shifts constantly. Seeing them handling the ROV is amazing. They're really skillful, so we really appreciate the opportunity to have these great professionals on board. And yeah, maybe we have these screens that show the live location of the ROV, the live location of the ship, the heading, the speed. So everything is under control to avoid any problem. And yes, also for those of you that have connected to the live streams, this is where the dive lead person sits. And so yes, if you see there are specialized mics, we have some really nice headphones if you want to talk with another colleague, and we have these mics all around the room. This is actually another very special place because this the place where
Sophia's.
Sophie works, her office, and yes, as you can see, she has all the control here. Well, maybe Sophie, can you tell us a bit more? I can my. Hello, Sophie.
There we go. I'm going to unmute myself. I mean, you were explaining my job really well. Sure, I can explain a little bit about what I do. I do 3 things primarily on the ship, myself and Alex, the other MMT. So what we do is we run the dive streams, which you can see on YouTube and Facebook. So what we use for that is we feed in all of the wonderful video feeds that we get from the ROV. We have a situation camera, a science camera, which mostly we show, and then we also have 4 HD cameras on the ROV, and then also 4 SD cameras. So we have the option of feeding in any of those feeds depending on what's interesting and what looks good. And then also we take care of the audio to make sure that the watch leads sound really good. So I'm always listening to make sure I can like fine tune anything. The second thing I do is I run the ship-to-shore programs. So oftentimes we have school groups calling in, university groups. Sometimes we can have virtual assemblies. So these are all, this is a very unique program that we have on board Falkor 2, where we can just give a live field trip similar to the one that we're giving right now. So really give students and other folks a very personalized experience.
Yeah.
That's something that I really love to do. And then the third thing I do is I manage all of the footage that comes in from the ROV. So after a dive, or sometimes during a dive, because time is short, sometimes you see me like clicking through, scrubbing through the highlight videos. I have to go through all of the footage and pick out the most interesting stuff, and that I give to our video person, our multimedia correspondent, who is our on this cruise. His name is Connor. Maybe some of you met him on the dive stream last night. He came in to say hi. Yeah, so I give them the footage to work with so that they create those beautiful highlight reels that you see on our YouTube channel. Yeah,
cool,
that's
Sophia.
my job.
Thanks, Sophie.
It's a pretty amazing job, actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
lucky.
Ok, tal vez para empezar en español con la sala de control y después les voy a comentar todo lo que Sofía nos estaba diciendo. Este es pues de fijo nuestro lugar favorito en el barco. Creo que en esta sí estamos de acuerdo, Sergio.
Definitivamente.
Aquí es donde pasa toda la acción. Ahorita pues ya no estamos haciendo buceos, así que muchas de las pantallas pues no están mostrando nada. Pero en todas estas pantallas podemos ver las diferentes cámaras que el ROV Sebastian tiene sobre sí. Y podemos ver desde mapas, dónde está ubicado, podemos ver si estamos viendo la cámara científica. Sofía nos comentaba que también hay otras cámaras de alta definición. Y todo ese es el centro de control del ROV. En esta silla, la persona que está liderando el buceo, la persona del equipo científico que está liderando el buceo se sienta acá para tener buena comunicación con los 2 pilotos del ROV. Acá tenemos pues a uno de los pilotos, allá tendríamos al otro. Hay un montón de joysticks, controles para poder manipular de forma correcta el robot. Estos que tenemos acá son los controles de los brazos robóticos, son básicamente réplicas en pequeño del verdadero brazo, con un montón de articulaciones. Y en esta silla tenemos a la persona que se encarga de toda la parte multimedia, que en este caso es Sophie. Ella nos estaba comentando un poco de su trabajo y nos decía que tiene 3 responsabilidades específicamente. Una de esas es pues llevar a todos ustedes estas transmisiones en vivo a través de Facebook y de YouTube. Así que ella se asegura pues de que el sonido sea de la calidad adecuada, de que la cámara que mejor está mostrando en ese momento, pues si estamos viendo un pulpo o cualquier organismo que sea de interés, esté en el live stream. También se encarga de hacer unas conexiones ship to shore que son muy parecidas a estos recorridos que estamos haciendo, pero un poco más enfocados en la parte científica. Y la tercera responsabilidad es pasar todo ese, observar nuevamente todo ese video y tomar pues los momentos más importantes. Para ponerles un ejemplo, en esta expedición recopilamos más de 150 horas de grabación, en la expedición de junio recopilamos más de 200 horas de grabación, así que es un set de datos muy grande que tenemos que revisar y que Sophie se encarga de tomar los momentos más emocionantes para dárselos a otra persona que es la que se encarga de hacer los videos que resumen todo, que compilan todos los momentos más emocionantes de las expediciones.
Sí.
¿Algo más?
Solamente, so next time you see a live stream, remember that Sophie or Alex is going to be behind the scenes. So special thanks to them.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we had one question about the screens, which I think I can answer if one of you
Okay.
puts on gimbal. We often get questions like this. So right now the screens, as you can see, there says no signal. That's because the ROV cameras are off. And so normally when the ROV cameras are on right before deployment, we can actually see all the views just to double check that everything's working. Another thing that I forgot to mention was this really awesome Blackmagic screen that we have connected here next to my spot. So what this is it's a super fancy screen. So here it's connected directly to the science camera on the ROV. So what this does is it gives us a really good idea about how much of the picture is exposed or how much is in shadow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's what this is for. And then up here, if the cameras were on, you'd be able to see, we can actually have vector scopes. Do you know what a vector scope is?
Yeah.
It's like data about what the colors look like and what the exposure looks like. So this gives us a lot of information about the quality of the picture, and sometimes it helps me give an objective reason to prompt maybe one of the pilots to be like, hey, like when you have a moment when you're not doing science, like could you toggle like the exposure a little bit or up the ISO. So we're very much collaborating with the ROV pilots and everyone to make sure that not only really good science gets done, but also to make sure that you all are seeing really beautiful images at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you so much for that, Sophie.
Yeah.
You're doing an amazing work. Voy a traducir eso rápidamente y le estaban preguntando a Sophie que un poco qué es lo que se ve en estas pantallas. Y pues ahorita, como ven, dice que no hay señal, pero es básicamente porque el ROV está en borda y no está buceando, pero usualmente aquí lo que tenemos son todas las diferentes vistas de las cámaras, así como muchos de los parámetros que brinda el ROV en tiempo real para saber a dónde se está posicionando, a qué velocidad va, etcétera. También tiene, por ejemplo, un sistema para detectar objetos cercanos, entonces para evitar cualquier tipo de colisión. Y Sophie nos estaba contando que parte de sus tareas, pues casi que ella es una copiloto en el sentido de ajustar los parámetros. Entonces nos estaba comentando de que esta pantalla es una pantalla especial que le sirve a ella y le sirve al equipo para que la calidad del video sea lo más adecuado posible. Entonces es una pantalla que básicamente transmite la vista de la cámara 4K y le muestra, por ejemplo, si hay lugares donde hay sobreexposición o si tiene que haber como algún ajuste de color. Entonces ella lo puede hacer aquí fácilmente. Era algo que yo personalmente no sabía hasta ahorita. Así que sí, muchísimas gracias más bien a Sophie por explicarnos eso. Y bueno, aquí podríamos pasar horas, pero realmente pues son muchísimos los datos, inclusive como pueden ver aquí. Actualmente se están tomando datos, esos son los datos de corriente, entonces inclusive a pesar de que ya terminamos la expedición, se siguen tomando datos y es algo de lo interesante de estas expediciones. Estoy seguro que Beatriz puede complementar esa parte, es que de cada una de estas expediciones se generan teras y teras, o sea, decenas de terabytes de información, que no solamente es información científica, sino también información pues técnica, y que pues la idea de todo esto es que en algún futuro pues toda esta información sirva para traducirse a datos, y esos datos sirvan para informar las decisiones que se toman.
Sí, bueno, yo tengo un interés personal en toda esta parte de datos, por mi interés en desarrollo web y en video, entonces mi trabajo es básicamente con esos videos. Me esperan muchísimas horas. cada minuto de video pues se traduce en mucho más trabajo, y fue algo que consulté a los pilotos, a los MTs, a los Marine Techs del barco, porque estaba escribiendo un blog, de hecho, sobre cómo las herramientas web nos están ayudando a mejorar todo este manejo de datos, y es 1 tera cada 12 horas, solo de los datos de Sebastian. O sea, eso no incluye nada de todos los demás sensores que tiene el barco. así que es 1 tera cada 12 horas y cada buceo tarda mínimo 12 horas usualmente. Hemos hecho buceos de hasta 36 horas.
That's
Así
a
que
lot
es
of information.
That's a lot of information. Yeah.
1 terabyte for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, well, basically, yeah, Bia was just mentioning that all the importance of having all this data and processing into, yeah, pretty much information and
Yeah.
towards decision making. So yeah, Sophie, do we have any questions before we head up to our final side of the vessel? No?
No.
All right.
There was just one question which I can answer while we're walking.
Okay,
Um,
let's go.
so there was a question about the screens and the if they have an HDR signal. So the science camera is 4K. We don't, I don't believe we record natively, but the screens,
No,
yeah.
aquí.
Okay.
The screens themselves are 4K as well, so that gives us all the resolution.
All right, so in here we have the computer lab, and this is the place in which some of the scientists are working. Here we have some of the people working on video and communication, also working in front of the screens. So hi Orla. So yeah, we have Orla, Paul, Diego, and we have 2 really important scientists, Don Jorge Cortez and Diva Amon. Yes, and pretty much in this area, we have the chance to work in our, in our stuff, in our computers, but at the same time be 100% connected with what's happening in our surroundings, with ROV and all the parameters. So, yes, maybe we can ask some fun questions to Diva and Don Jorge. Yeah, okay. Diva.
Hi.
Hi. So this time we're gonna tweak it up a bit, not that scientifically, because I've guessed that you are pretty busy doing the final report. So yeah, tell us, who you are, where you're from, and what's been your most favorite moment of the cruise.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm Dr. Diva Amen, deep sea biologist. I study what lives in the deep ocean as well as how humans are potentially impacting it. I'm with an NGO in Trinidad and Tobago, which is where I'm from, called Species, that I co-founded, as well as the Benioff Ocean Science Lab at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Favorite moment, being with all of you guys again, obviously. No, it's been a real joy to be able to participate in this amazing expedition for a second time on this incredible ship and with such incredible scientists, both Costa Rican and beyond. So it's been really lovely. In terms of great biology, I mean, we started the entire expedition with the phantom jelly, which has literally been on my bucket list forever.
Phantom
so
jelly.
It's been great. Really great.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Diva. Do you have any questions for Diva? Not yet. All right. Perfect. Yeah. We don't distract you anymore. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. John. Nice. So here we have another of the most important persons in the ship.
I don't know if I'd say that.
It makes everything happening behind the scenes. So John, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Sergio?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I guess I can give a quick introduction. My name is John Fulmer. I'm the lead technician on board here. So along with the ROV team, the MMT, who is Sophia, who is running this outreach call, and then other marine technicians on board. We oversee all of the data and run all of the science systems on board. So from the multi-beam mapping, the acoustic positioning of the vehicle, the telemetry data that goes to the vehicle, and all the data capture, the video. You can see we're mapping. We just went over a really cool feature right now. So this is our multi-beam system. It's an EM124. We also have a higher resolution system for shallower water called a 712. This is the backscatter you can see here, and then some of the water column data, and then the 3D maps that we make and generate from the acoustic data that we collect from the shipboard sensors. Is really helpful to kind of find out what's beneath the surface of the ocean so that we can then go down with the ROV and investigate in much greater detail, obviously, with cameras and being able to collect specimens and bring them back up to the surface. All of these screens in here you can see are of various different feeds, cameras, everything else we have. We have redundant navigation systems with high precision corrective subscriptions, so we can get up to, what are we getting right now? getting 6 centimeter accuracy on our GNSS. So that's like GPS, but with multiple other constellations, so GLONASS, Beidou, and Galileo as well. So using all those satellites and referencing everything to a central reference point on the vessel where everything else is coordinated to, we can then determine within 6 centimeters the position of anything on the ship, which is incredibly useful and helpful, well, mandatory and necessary when we're doing any science expeditions, because if you're taking a sample, if you're collecting data points of how the sea surface temperature, or the pH, or the fluorescence, so the how much animal life is in the water, all of this stuff needs to be geo-referenced so that we can look back, put it into databases, build different profiles of the water column, and all sorts of other stuff, CTD casts that we do. So the hydro team that was on with us today, we would collect water at the bottom and the top of the water column, and then they would perform some experiments on those and different measurements. Yeah, there's quite a bit of different systems that we run here, but essentially science is happening all the time all over the ship. Currently, we're still collecting underway water for transmissometers, the fluorometer, the pH, thermosalinograph, so the temperature and the salinity, the sound speed of the water that we use in the acoustics, and there's a bunch of other stuff I can't think of right now.
Amazing. Do you want to repeat all that in Spanish?
Sí, lo siento, no hablo español, pero sí, no.
Okay.
Lo siento,
Entonces,
permiso.
Gracias, John. Tal vez ha sido un súper breve resumen de lo que John nos estaba comentando. Básicamente en esas pantallas ven todos los datos que se están desplegando en este momento. Incluso ahorita, aunque no estemos pues ya en trabajo con el ROV, vemos que el barco está generando mapas, así que lo que él nos comentaba es que la ciencia aquí no para y que ese es un centro muy importante para integrar todos los datos que estamos obteniendo en todo momento de la expedición. También conocimos a la doctora Diva Eamon de Trinidad y Tobago, ella es parte del equipo latinoamericano y del Caribe que está a bordo de esta expedición, trabajando con la parte biológica de la investigación. Y tenemos al doctor Jorge Cortés, uno de los pioneros en las ciencias marinas de nuestro país y uno de los cojefes científicos de Octopus Odyssey.
Adelante, Jorge. Y toma Octavia.
Octavia.
We just got Octavia back. This is a special guest.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Okay, welcome to Falkor 2. Here we are in this beautiful vessel doing some great research here in Costa Rica, surrounded by great scientists and students and a great crew on this vessel. And we came to study the octopus nursery that it's here, one of only 3 sites in the world.
Yeah, it's 4 sites all over the world, right? 4 sites, 5?
5.
5 sites.
They discovered another one in Canada.
In Canada, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Don Jorge. So, Don Jorge, for all the viewers who might be wondering, how is to be co-chief of an expedition? What are the challenges?
It's a lot of work. Yeah, together with Beth, we have to make sure that everything works smoothly, that the work is done, that all the samples are collected, processed, that there's no fights on board.
This is a human experiment.
Yeah, keep the harmony and then prepare reports and all that, and communicate between the scientists and the crew, so that they know what we're going to be doing and we know what they're going to be doing. So that's part of our work, and it starts years before the expedition and ends years after the expedition. We're preparing everything for the expedition, all the plans, the proposals, and permits, and then we do the expedition, and then the following years to make sure that everything is processed and published.
Yeah. Indeed, a lot of work, for sure. So,
sí, las conversaciones para esta expedición iniciaron en el 2019, si no me equivoco. Así que Don Jorge nos está comentando cómo ser cojefe científico de una expedición de este calibre es mucho trabajo, desde permisos de investigación, planear absolutamente toda la investigación que se va a hacer, y viene mucho trabajo después, que es toda la publicación de nuestros resultados.
Yes, don Jorge. So just to feel, I don't know if we have any questions for in the chat. So what's your favorite part of the ship?
Yeah, being here.
Like here?
Being in this vessel.
Being in
this
the
Like all the vessel. Okay.
All
Okay.
the vessel. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful place. It's a beautiful vessel.
Yeah.
For doing science is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Indeed. Yeah, it's hard
Yeah,
to choose.
Yes. That's it.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess that. What should we do? Should we go into finalizing the conference room?
There's a meeting in there right now,
Uh-huh.
so maybe we can find a quiet corner.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Muchas gracias, don Jorge. Thanks a lot. Maybe we can go to the. So we're finalizing this very special transmission of the open house. I would just like to give a special shout out to Sophie, who came up with this idea. I believe that it's definitely something that it's totally worth it to have a more casual conversation and more casual transmission of the overall life at sea and get to know like all these spaces that we don't usually get to show in the ship to shore. So thank you, Sophie,
You're welcome.
for making us part of this. And yes, I feel that, well, if you have any questions or any comments, we're definitely very keen to comment.
Sí, agradecer a Sophie todos estos esfuerzos que hace Schmidt Ocean porque todo esto sea público. Es parte de mis, o sea, es de mis cosas favoritas de esas expediciones, poder transmitir en vivo desde 3 kilómetros de profundidad. Ayer, de hecho, nos estaba comentando una persona del equipo científico que una de sus amigas estaba en la estación espacial viendo el live stream de 3 kilómetros de profundidad bajo el océano, y transmitir desde el fondo oceánico al espacio,
Yeah.
es algo que pues hace unos pocos años no hubiéramos imaginado.
Definitivamente.
Así que si tienen preguntas, comentarios, con mucho gusto podemos responderlos.
Sí.
Sure, there's a couple. Y'all hear me, right? I just
Yeah.
can't see.
Yes.
Okay,
Can hear.
perfect. So I'm just reading these real quick. There's a question about the internet, which I can answer really quickly.
Yeah.
How do we maintain such smooth internet? Well, we actually upgraded when we came onto this new ship our internet system. So our AVIT engineer is responsible for our internet system. We have a VSAT, which you are familiar with if you tune into our dive streams, because that's primarily what I use. It's reserved for me primarily and the other MMT Alex for our outreach activities. So every dive stream and ship to shore gets broadcast through that VSAT. So those are the two big domes that you see on the top of our ship if you've seen any drone shots. And we also have 2 Starlink antennas. So they're right on the bridge level, and that's where all of the other internet traffic happens on the ship. So WhatsApp messages and communications and emails, all of that gets sent through that Starlink. So we have 2 different systems that work together to create smooth sailing and a smooth dive stream. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. And just to add that to Sophie, and from my experience being in other vessels, usually, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but one of the most amazing things for us visitors in this ship is that the bandwidth is really good, and you don't have a limit per day. So it's very good that the Schmidt Ocean Institute trusts you to limit yourself with the updates and trying to avoid any streaming devices. But for example, in other vessels, they only give you 500 megabytes per day. So if you consume that, you have to wait until the ship renews, and sometimes that's really hard to cope with, because nowadays if you watch a video or if you just send an email that has an attachment, that might take even 1 gig. So yeah, I find that that's one of the most nicest things in this ship, and it's the fact that the bandwidth is really good, and yeah, that we don't have that limitation.
Sí, la pregunta es relacionada a cómo es el internet en el barco. Para resumirlo, es mejor que en mi casa.
Definitivamente.
Tenemos muy buena conexión a internet y si Sophie nos estaba explicando que hay dos sistemas que permiten tener este ancho de banda tan grande. Hay uno limitado para el live stream específicamente cuando todos ustedes se conectan a la transmisión en vivo y otro para que podamos pues estar enviando nuestros mensajes de correo, WhatsApp y demás, hacer nuestras pequeñas búsquedas de literatura que constantemente tenemos que hacer como parte del trabajo científico que estamos haciendo. Y
Sí.
no tenemos un
límite.
un límite y eso nos ayuda muchísimo a poder progresar rápidamente.
Sí, también para poder transmitir en redes sociales, que hoy en día es de los medios de transmitir comunicación más importantes. Entonces, pues no solamente estas transmisiones, sino también las que se hacen desde cada uno de los perfiles de los científicos, científicas y gente del crew. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quick questions. Does the bridge have their own network? No, not really. Do you have an amateur radio on board? Maybe one of our lead technicians really likes to collect radios, but I'm not sure if he's brought any on board. So I'm not sure, actually, with that one. Yeah, I think to round off, if nobody, I think we have a couple minutes to wait for questions to come in. But while we're waiting to wrap up, I'd love for you all to talk about what's on your T-shirts and what your campaign is.
Yeah, so yeah.
Ooh, Yeti crab.
So here we have a Yeti crab. The name of this species is Kiwa pura vida. As you might know, pura vida means like okay, all good, everything is fine in Costa Rica. So this was really nice because some scientists, or the scientists that discovered this species some years ago in front of the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, put this species that name. So we are taking this species as a flag, or I don't know.
As a flagship
Yeah.
species,
To raise this campaign that we call Costa Rica Desconocida, or Unknown Costa Rica, where we want the people to get in love of the deep sea as we are, because it's just amazing and really important for us, even if we are not able to be there by ourselves. Thankfully, we have all this equipment to explore these areas now. And with this campaign, we want to wrap up all the expeditions, not just the Octopus Odyssey expedition, but all the expeditions that we have made in the past in Costa Rican waters, to put all that information and videos and images in, summarize that information into useful information for the people, for the general audience, but specifically and more important, the decision makers. So this campaign, this awareness campaign, is what we hope is to be followed by a conservation plan for the deep sea.
Yeah, and this is just a compliment on what Bia explained really well. And it's very timely the time this campaign is being launched, because next year we have Costa Rica is co-hosting the United Nations Ocean Conference in June. So it's going to be in 2024 in Costa Rica, and 2025 in France. And I would say it's the biggest ocean event in the world. And sometimes you might wonder, even as a scientist, like, what's the impact of my science? What's next for all this data? So of course, many papers and publications, as Don Jorge said, but one of the most important things that we are definitely trying to do our best is to take that information into solid policy frameworks that allow the sustainable management of the deep sea, that in Costa Rica is the majority of our territory. In Costa Rica, we are 10 times bigger in ocean rather than land. So 92% of our country is ocean, and the majority of that is deep sea. So yeah, it has been an amazing experience to be here, and I would say that's at the same time kind of sad that is already ending. But yeah, I feel that none of us thought that was going to happen. Like, I don't know, 5 years ago, it was only a dream. And so yes, thanks to the Schmidt Ocean Institute for facilitating this amazing vessel. But more than the vessel, all the amazing crew, such as Sophie and others, as you see, John, and all the people behind the scenes. How many people are in the crew, Sophie?
Approximately 25 to 30, depending on
Yeah,
the expedition.
that's a lot of persons, a lot of scientists that
Yeah.
we were not able to talk as well. So yeah, it's incredible all the human connections that you can make in this type of expeditions.
Yeah. Hold on, just a quick buffer.
Yep.
Okay. There was just one question about merch. No, Schmidt Ocean does not have merch, unfortunately. But yeah, I think we don't have any more questions coming in, so I think this would be a good place to sign off.
Okay.
Thank you to Sergio and Bea for joining me as our wonderful hosts. Great to have you on board. I'll miss you very much.
Thank you, Sophie. And Octavia, don't forget Octavia.
Oh yes, thank you, Octavia. I'm gonna give her a quick little glam shot.
Yeah.
Oh, love Octavia. Will there be an Octo Odyssey Part 3 in the future?
We hope so.
We hope so.
We hope so.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely.
We'll work hard
Yeah.
on the first 2 cruises to be able to propose a third one someday.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we were talking about it, and yeah, many things in the future years. And yeah, if any of you have a research vessel, we invite you to come over in Costa Rica and host
Find us.
a scientific party. That we can do awesome stuff. We still have so much seafloor that has not been mapped, a bunch of water column that we still don't know. So yeah, definitely. Um, I don't know. I'm getting emotional, but thanks to the Schmidt and yes, thanks again to Sophie for this open house. I definitely will also tune in for the next ones.
Thanks.
Yes.
Sí, sí, muchas gracias a Schmidt también por permitirnos hablar en español durante nuestras transmisiones. Eso para nosotros ha significado muchísimo. Solo para rápidamente explicar nuestras camisetas, son camisetas de Costa Rica Desconocida, que es el nombre de una campaña de concientización sobre el mar profundo que queremos llevar hacia la toma de decisiones para la conservación de este ecosistema, el más extenso del mundo, el más extenso de nuestro planeta y en riesgo cada vez más. Así que muchas gracias por acompañarnos, de verdad. Esperamos vernos en un futuro.
En un futuro
no muy lejano.
Octopus Odyssey 3.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. If you haven't checked out our website, our 2024 expeditions have just been posted.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We're going to be back in January. Alex will be back to take over the streams, so he will be your go-to person for that. And as always, I hope you all take care. Have a wonderful holiday season. And we wish you all the best. Hugs from Octavia.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Okay.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you
Adios.
so